Welcome into our live edition of our post-game reaction of the Ravens and Steelers. We got our top 5 takeaways from today's game. It was a little bit of a disappointing one because I got to be honest with you guys, man. It's never fun. It's never fun to lose to the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I think that I saw a stat that the Ravens have actually lost 7 of their last 8 games against the Pittsburgh Steelers, regardless of the fact that, the Ravens didn't play 6 of their key starters and Roquan Smith and Lamar Jackson, Kyle Hamilton, Zay Flowers, and others, but still doesn't feel good to lose to the Pittsburgh Steelers. So welcome in to our live edition. What's up, Abdi? Thanks for coming in the chat. We got Gatlin, we got Jacob Stewart, and fired up to have this little live stream with you guys. Quick reaction. So here we go. Our first takeaway. My biggest concern, we'll start with a negative, get that out of the way, but my biggest concern is that Michael Pierce, Travis Jones, and Justin Madubuike and Patrick Queen were all starting. They were all in there starting, and we still had a concern with this run defense. I believe that we gave 150 rushing yards up to these Pittsburgh Steelers. I understand it was raining. I understand we were missing Roquan Smith, but it doesn't feel good to give up 150 rushing yards to your division rival at home whenever you got Michael Pierce in there, Travis Jones, Justin Madubuike, Patrick Queen, and we were just getting bullied on the ground. Pittsburgh Steelers were running a lot of power, the same play over and over again. We just simply couldn't stop it. Shout out to Jordan. We got Abdi in the chat. Lamar for president. We got Alicia. This makes the case for Lamar as MVP because they look like a completely different team. You're 100% right. I saw some hilarious stuff last season whenever this whole contract dispute was going, like, oh, we'll be fine without Lamar. Tyler Huntley's just as good. He's just a little less athletic but can throw the ball better. Like, if that's not a bogus statement, man, I don't know what is. And Gus, he is not the answer. All right, so we'll come to I'll go ahead and jump to my next point because that was one of my other concerns. So I like Gus. He's been a rock for this offense, but my biggest concern is that he's fumbled now in back-to-back weeks. So very concerned about fumbling, especially in the postseason. The one way that a inferior team can beat you in the playoffs is if, first of all, you turn the ball over and then you let them run the ball right down your throat. So, and then big plays, of course. That's a recipe for disaster. If you give up big plays, you have turnovers, and let a team run the life out of you, run the ball right down your throat, man, that's how you can beat an inferior team on the road, especially. So let's go Jags or Bills. So actually, I would not be mad if the Dolphins beat the Bills and go ahead and knock the Bills out of the playoffs because I'm not scared of the Steelers in the postseason with Lamar Jackson, Kyle Hamilton, Roquan Smith, Zay Flowers. We would absolutely shred their defense to pieces. It was a weird game. It was raining. It was backups. So I'm not scared of the Pittsburgh Steelers, even though they beat us 7 of the 8 last times. Lamar Jackson is so locked in and laser focused right now. I think we would punch the Steelers right in the mouth. Despite the fact that they did run the ball on us like we were talking about, I'm not scared of the Steelers. I'd rather see the Bills get knocked out. So at number 1, we had the run defense with a little bit of concern today, 150 yards on the ground. At number 2, we had a concern with the fumbles. Melvin Gordon, he's not going to touch the football in the postseason one time. Melvin Gordon, I believe, already had like over 25 fumbles in his career. He's been known as a fumbler, before he even signed with the Ravens, and that was a concern that we had a while ago. And then we see it pop up in a game, despite it being wet weather. Like, fumbles are not an excuse, never are, and they can get you knocked out of the playoffs real quick. So we had the fumbling issues. We had the run defense. Let's talk about something good here. At number 3, Isaiah Likely is an absolute dog. Capital D, capital O, capital G, man. Isaiah Likely, doesn't matter who the quarterback is. He continues to show that he's a number 1 tight end in this league. I'm not saying he's better than Mark Andrews, but he could go on to like 20 different football teams and take over as a starter just like that because he's that talented. And I love me some Isaiah Likely. Alicia says this game makes me so happy that we benched our starters, especially Lamar, because if we want that Super Bowl run, we need our MVP healthy. Good golf from Harbaugh. Yeah, and let's talk about at number 4 some of these injuries, because it looked like a Dafe Owe. Yes, absolutely. Same thing here from Javante. We got out of there relatively healthy, according to John Harbaugh. So we saw Owe, I think, go out a little bit early, a little bit nicked up. That would be probably my biggest concern. Geno Stone went out a little bit early, nicked up, but he looks like he'll be fine. And then Delshon Phillips. So those 3 guys I know of off the top of my head got a little bit banged up, but John Harbaugh did confirm that all of these guys should be ready to rock for the playoffs in the divisional round. Elder Wood says Isaiah Likely's on point. This is the Super Bowl for the Squealers. You ain't wrong, man. The Steelers, I would be absolutely shocked if they won in the first round of the playoffs. So if they get in as a 7 seed, and they win, we will be playing the Steelers in the divisional round, and I would love that. I would absolutely love to just crush the Steelers in the divisional round, as if they come into our stadium as the number 7 seed. If we make it, Likely and Mandrews will go off in the Super Bowl. Squealers peaked out at 17 points against. Yeah, you're 100% right, man. It's Jacob Stewart. All right, at number 4. I don't know if we already talked about 4 or not. Let's roll with it. Trenton Simpson. How about Trenton Simpson? This guy had a day. I think multiple tackles for loss, blowing up screens, blowing up runs, had the big stop in the red zone, had the sack. And I know there's a lot of conversation about, will Patrick Queen stay here in Baltimore? I don't think he will be, but there does show you a little bit of optimism if you're wondering who's going to be the next linebacker next to Roquan Smith, that, Trenton Simpson's showing a little something. He looks night and day between preseason and now. And if anything, man, if you're rocking with 2 linebackers and you got Roquan Smith, locked up under contract, you have Roquan Smith, who's very cerebral, will be in the right spot and then, make the tackles and everything like that. And you got Trenton Simpson, who could just be an athletic freak running around, blitz, and use him as a weapon, kind of how they did with Patrick Queen a little bit. So, been a fan of Trent. Says Patricia, keep telling he needs playing time. Absolutely, man. Sometimes you got to get out there and get reps. Miles Williams says Trenton is insane. So Isaiah Likely with the big day. Nelson Aguilar with multiple catches. The fumbles do concern me. I'm concerned. If it was just one fumble from Gus Edwards on one of these games, I wouldn't be too concerned. But I'm concerned in the fact that it was in back-to-back weeks. That's what gets me a little bit concerned. Alicia says, headed back to watch this Colts and Texans match. Just a comment. Appreciate your content. Appreciate you, Alicia. Thanks for the love and support. And I'm about to go watch this game here soon as well. How about Marcus Peters? We need to sign him. Absolutely not, man. I would rather rock with any of the other corners that we have besides Marcus Peters right now. I also want to get to a couple of these points here because if you guys, let me show you my screen real quick. We got this tweet from Jonas Schaefer, and we got a Justin Madubuike career high 13 sacks. Jadeveon Clowney career high tying 9.5 sacks, over 30 years old, and it's like 10th NFL season. Kyle Van Noy career high 9 sacks. Adafe Owe career tying 5 sacks. He would have gotten more if he hadn't missed some time. He was banged up, missed a couple of games. And then Brent Urban career high 3 sacks. And showing this guy right here, Chuck Smith, known as Dr. Rush. He deserves a lot of credit, as long as first of all, the guys deserve credit. I agree with you. Lamar for president. B Steve is a dog. That loss was sad. Yes, like we talked about, it never feels good to lose to the Pittsburgh Steelers, but hey, we're here for bigger things. We got a chance to go play a team. We only got to win 2 games and we're in the Super Bowl. So we got to keep the main thing. Let's go back here. I got to show you guys a couple more things here before we log off here. Wanted to come in and give our top 5 takeaways real quick. Trenton Simpson balling out of his mind. We got the, career years out of all these pass rushers, largely due to Chuck Smith, these pass rushers themselves. And then Mike McDonald, who's been balling, calling great plays, scheming it up. Ramey says Kyle Van Noy has 9 sacks this year. Jadeveon Clowney has 9.5 sacks this year. They combined for $5 million. That's a shout out to Eric DeCosta for bringing those guys in. Jadeveon Clowney got a $750,000 bonus from that sack that he got. So shout out to Jadeveon Clowney for getting that done. He was a half a sack away from hitting double-digit sacks, which he said was important. But shout out to Jadeveon Clowney for having a career year. Jamison Hensley says that was Melvin Gordon's 19th lost fumble of his career. It's the most by any non-quarterback since 2015. That's exactly why I'm saying Melvin Gordon ain't going to touch the football a single time in the postseason. Dalvin Cook was rising up the depth chart pretty fast in that game. I did notice Justice Hill did get playing time, but he didn't get a single carry. I was like, pondering, I was like, man, did he really not get a single carry? So it looks like they were trying to save him a little bit, but get him in on third down. Lamar for President says, love your consistently great content, man. Can't wait for these videos every day. I appreciate the love. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Just wanted to come at you guys real quick with our top 5 takeaways. I'll have some more content for you guys tomorrow. So we're going to go watch this Colts and Texans game. We're going to see how the AFC shakes out, how the playoff is all set, how the standings are set, the stages will be set, and then we'll talk about it. We'll break it down. We might have another live stream again tomorrow, so keep your eye out for that. Make sure you smash the like button. Have your subscribe button on, your notification bell on, so we can keep you up to date on all of your Baltimore Ravens news and content. Appreciate you guys. Love you guys, and we'll see you in the next video.